Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to ChiNet, where we learn from builders before the machines take over. I'm your host, and today we're talking about one of the most counterintuitive business bets in recent history. It was 2022, ChatGPT just dropped. LinkedIn is flooded with posts about how AI will replace recruiters. Every tech publication is running headlines like the death of HR and why hiring managers don't need recruiters anymore. And we'll be talking to Priyanshu today, the founder of Agylex Global and the director of Sprinx, who's building IT operations across Australia, India, and UAE. He's hiring for the Australian federal government, running a team that promises to find any talent, no matter how niche the requirement. And along with that, counseling professionals on career moves in an AI disrupted world. And we're going to ask him that how, not just how he survived when everyone else thought that the industry is shutting down. We'll ask him how did he build a multi-million-dollar empire when conventional wisdom said that his entire industry was about to disappear. So let's get Priyanshu on stage.
Hey, Rachit.
Priyanshu, a very warm welcome to ChiNet.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Thank you.
Thanks
I'm
for
very
the
happy
wonderful
to
introduction.
have you here. So let's start with a brief introduction about yourself, about Agilex and Sprinx.
Great. Thank you so much for the this great session, Rachit. Definitely, it's a pleasure to be here. So we are basically a business which is primarily serving into not just staffing. You have mentioned about all the staffing, but I would like to add a few more things over here. Staffing is a portion of the business that we are actually into, but we are also doing a lot of work into the IT solutioning as well. So this journey started almost 3.5 years back when we saw the dream, and then everything fell in place. And right now, like you rightly said, it's almost we are crossed more than 4 million business empire that we have already established. Everything is bootstrapped, and we started right from the scratch, doing things on and on. All the sleepless nights and everything, but
I'm sure.
everything paid off. So we are serving definitely we are serving the federal government in Australia primarily, and we're doing a lot of business within the UAE and the Indian market, where providing IT solutions and the staffing solutions to various clients within the IT sector. And of course, there's a lot of other plans are there where we are also looking to diversify more in other sectors as well.
Right.
AI is definitely one of the areas where we're looking to invest more and see how it turns out in the future.
Of
So
course.
yeah, this is a brief about this particular thing we are doing, and I'm sure once you'll have question, I'll have more answers to talk about.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think let's start with the start. So when you started, it's late. I think it was late 2021. We're just coming out of COVID. At that time, you had spent nearly a decade in different companies. Like you'd worked with Deloitte, Allied Solutions, Cape Gemini. And at that time, AI tools were getting smarter by the day, right? There were people who were saying that devs would no longer be required. Resume screening itself became automated. Candidate matching became very faster.
Hmm.
Everything was changing and
True.
evolving in a bad way, I would say, for the industry you were entering. And instead of pivoting away, trying to do something else, you actually went all in to start your own company. At that time, what were your friends and family, or let's say strangers on the internet, what were people telling you?
So, Rajit, I mean, I would say that starting anything, comes with a fear
Of
and
course.
definitely an excitement. And when you're young and when you're driven and you're energized, you have that, adrenaline pushes you in to take that risk and, go to the extra mile, right? So when actually I started, there were right people, there were people with a different opinion as well who had their views that, why are you taking risk? This is a very unpredictable market right now. So I would say that when you have good friends, so definitely credit goes to my family, my mentor and partner, the managing director of the NIAD Group, NIAD Group, Mr. Praveen Kumar, who believed in me and who said that let's give it a shot, Priyanshu. Why not? We'll fail, right? That's the worst thing can happen, but there's no harm in trying. He saw the potential. We all saw the potential. We together we saw the dream, and I know it eventually materialized with a period of time. And
Right.
if you say yes, people said recruitment is gonna die. The AI is evolving, and it's gonna replace the recruiters who screen the resumes, and the algorithms are gonna play the game now. The staffing industry is gonna die. Probably that could be a worst possible bet,
Right.
where so people were skeptical. But
Right.
I had in the back of my mind that that even if it's dying, then I don't mind, trying, basically. So I
Hmm.
don't really mind that. So
Right.
machines got better at filtering, but eventually you need humans' intelligence to identify, those actual gaps, to that
Right.
cultural gap, that or probably the attitude of the person. The machine cannot judge that, right? So you saw we basically saw those kind of gaps, and rather than treating AI as a threat, we we took it more as a catalyst, basically, which can help us drive this business further. If you combine the tech with the human intelligence, we can do wonders, right? So that's how I actually saw this dream. And then it became like swimming against the tide. Initially it was swimming against the tide,
Of
but
course.
eventually, I was able to basically move with the flow. So it all fell into the place. Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing, amazing. And I remember backstage, you were mentioning how your mentor also helped you a lot, right? I think that's very important. I think we
You need
often,
that one person, to be honest. Been in touch with him from almost 6 7 years now.
wow,
He's a mentor, come partner, and a
right,
great human being indeed. Who was like, "You try, man, and I will see to it the risk, whatever it comes." So it's like, why
amazing,
not? So
right.
it's see, obviously, you need somebody to trust on you, and if
Yes,
you have that
absolutely.
person, so eventually
it
things
it
fall in
works,
place.
right?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think there are so many mistakes. If there are people and that's even goes for not even like in your case. Of course, you had a personal mentor whom you were in touch with, but even I feel like there are a lot of smart people selling courses and and selling these uh, like even books, for example, right? Like there is
right.
so much knowledge there, and now we start disregarding it because we think that acha, we'll ask ChatGPT and we'll get the solution, but it doesn't happen that way, right? And
True, true,
that's
true.
actually I have a book right here. I was reading this very interesting book by this person called Alex Hormozy, and
Okay,
it was very interesting. It says it tells you how you build an offer, something so simple, right? Like how do you pitch
okay,
to people? And
right.
halfway through I was like, wow, I would never think of something like this. And yeah, but I think the value of knowledge in general, and taking risks, but also making sure that that you're not taking stupid decisions is
Exactly.
very very
You should
valuable.
you should know the risk as well. It's not just about taking risk. It's about understanding what could be the consequences
Right,
eventually, right? I mean, if you know that, then and when you're young, sky's the limit. I always say that.
exactly.
You take the risk, you'll fail. Okay, just stand up and probably try something else, right? That's what it
Right,
counts. So yeah,
right. No,
yeah,
you're up very very correct. And yeah, with of course with age, your risk appetite also changes. But
true,
yeah, but of course when you're young, then you should not even think twice.
true,
You
true.
your career decisions are very interesting, right? You went from being an executive, and then running your own venture, and
Hmm.
in general that time itself was a very technologically disrupting time, right? So
Hmm.
but what's your framework for making career decisions when everything else is very unstable? And since we're talking about risks, how do you know when to double down on something versus when to move away and pivot from that?
Right. Okay. So, Rachit, I think when everything feels unstable,
Mm-hmm.
for me, my decision-making frameworks primarily depend upon the values and the principle. I carry.
Hmm.
I think that's very important, and it obviously comes with many factors like your family, your friends, people
Of
who
course.
are around you, and of course the people who accompany you, who are there within your whatever journey you carry, be it professional or personal. So I separate the negative noise from these fundamentals, because if I stick to that, then obviously there will be I will probably end up being in dilemma and probably will not be able to make a right decision.
Right.
So instead of asking what's changing, I focus on what remains the true, regardless of technology shifts. So which basically the true things are like your trust, your judgment, and of course the actual business outcome. Right. So I double down when the core problem actually exists. And when actually customer feels the pain, we know that okay, they are actually feeling the pain.
Hmm.
We should probably try something else. And obviously, technology is strengthening my edge, but it is not actually replacing it. So it is very important to understand that difference, right? And pivoting is something, you need to understand the root cause of any issues. You cannot just
Right.
think, okay, this is a problem. So if you're not able to do the root cause analysis, you will probably that's not the right point of making any changes, or
Hmm.
pivoting to any sort of business or any sort of even job as well. So understand or chasing those trends, the current trends, and then adding the complexity without the real value. And these are many factors which are there. And also, I would say that with the real life experience, so when you are actually working, you see many things around you, right? And obviously for me, you might have seen that I have had a very frequent switches,
Right.
and sometimes those frequent switches looks like an instability in the career. For me, it was more like an advantage. I would say that because I am somebody who just get bored so easily with the work. So if I
Right.
don't get enough challenges, I just don't like the work. So for me, it's more
Hmm.
like that's the reason I had those changes. So when I actually found that this is the right thing for me, this is actually matching my expectations and my values and principles. I was like, okay, fine. This is the time I should pivot and let's switch to, rather than being on a typical 9 to 6, to maybe doing the work for yourself,
To a
right? And
24/7.
exactly, that's the right word, 24/7. Exactly. I mean, when you do it on your own, I mean, you cannot have those. You do not have any limits, to be honest, the working limits. So you
Of
try to
course.
do push as much as you can. So
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Yes. And you're right. Like your initial switches are like very interesting, and about like I think every year you were
yeah.
changing
I was
companies
I
till the
was changing.
time
True,
you
true,
settle down with your own company. Um, there are a lot of people who say that that you should not do like you should stick for at least 3 years. I remember when I was this was all maybe 10 years back. Maybe this is old wisdom, but I think it's a lot of people say that as well, even now, that don't make so many switches in the beginning of your career.
true, true.
So, did you think that is counterintuitive knowledge, or
See, if you will ask me, so I am right now talking about myself, but if I'm going
hmm,
to look at somebody, I will have that kind of question in my back of my mind. Okay, this person has been making those switches.
right?
What could be the possible reason? Sometimes there is a
Hmm,
legitimate reason to those switches,
correct.
but sometimes people tend to make those switches because they're not able to probably do the expected work. Maybe they're
Right.
not able to deliver, or they're not really getting the enough value out of their work. So you need to understand the actual reason of those things. You
Hmm.
cannot always presume things and think that okay, or probably reject that person. So
Right.
after so many years of experience, I have understood that it is important that that I see I should have a holistic approach rather than having probably a biased approach towards anybody. So I have now stopped judging on that basis, and of course the
Hmm.
same thing has been passed on to my teams and the people
Of
whom
course.
I've been working with now.
Right.
And I think there's nothing wrong in making a switch.
Hmm.
I mean, I understand you need to spend decent time. You have some responsibilities with or you have some sort of loyalty with your employer. I'm not
Right.
talking about being disloyal or anything. If it's not for you, it's not for you. That's you should
Hmm.
change. That's how it works, right?
Very interesting. So unless like if you have good reasons for making those switches, it's fine. You don't have to worry so much about it.
Exactly.
But you
Exactly. I
can't
mean,
just be switching for the fun of it, and and
exactly. I
experimenting.
mean,
Right.
and plus, not just fun. If you're not able to deliver it, because see, this
Hmm.
market
Yes.
is I would say that IT
Brutal,
market is not
brutal.
that big. It's brutal.
Yes.
Plus, people are connected. So
Hmm.
eventually,
Yes.
somebody is gonna find out, right?
Of course.
And that becomes a problem. So
Yes.
it's always good to have a clean slate,
Right. News
right?
travels fast. Travels very
True.
fast.
That's true. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. This is the age of internet. This is the era of internet.
Yes.
It travels
Of
way too
course.
fast.
So I was actually talking to this friend of mine now.
Hmm.
I think 10 years back, when Swiggy was just about to start,
Okay.
he was working with Swiggy,
Hmm.
and he was like he was one of the best over there. Then he quit. Then now he was working somewhere else. And the other day, he got a call from Dipinder Goyal for an offer, and
Uh,
he was like, and he had no clue, right? He had no clue
I
that
got it.
okay, and he was like that. How did you even find out? Then they got to know that uh, their manager, his manager at that time, works with
Somehow
Dipinder
the
Goyal
connection was
now,
there,
and
right?
and they just found out, and they found out he's looking, and he's like, wow,
These
that's
things
how things happen.
happen actually. I was so this is a story about myself. I just want to share it. Just will take few seconds.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
the same thing happened in my case as well. I was in Mumbai working with Deloitte, right? I had few small switches, and when I was working with India Mart, so I had my manager. So we had a very good relation. I mean, she was like a very good mentor, and definitely she has a fair share of contribution towards what I am today. So she has
Right.
definitely helped me a lot in growing and of course learning things. That was a very early stage of my career. So when I was back in Mumbai and she was like, she just called me, Priyanshu, where are you, man? I was like, I'm in Mumbai. I'm just doing this. What are you doing in Mumbai? Come back to Noida. I have something for you. I'm gonna give you a better because I know your potential. So I was doing
Right.
something as an individual contributor that time, but she knew my potential. She saw that why not why individual contributor, man? I know you can build leaders, right? You can become a leader. Probably you can build more leaders, and that's the true leader is somebody who believes in making new leaders rather than just probably leading as a single boss, right? So I was like, okay, fine. Then she called me, and she was working with Trade India that time. And then I came back and I joined as a manager in Trade India. That's when actually my people management journey actually started when I started working over there. And since then, it's always been a pleasure, leading those teams and seeing people grow. Of course, that gives you a lot of joy when you see those young people, doing so well.
Right.
Now, because that time when I joined, there were very young people, interns coming fresh out of the college, and just
Correct.
testing themselves that okay, what they can do.
Right.
And now I can see those guys. A lot of people are there. Those women, they're doing very well in their career. So it's always good to
Amazing.
see that at least at some point of time you are able to add some value, right, to somebody's career.
Absolutely.
So it's
No,
always
that's very. I think it's very important. Like you need to be true to yourself, and you need to work
right.
very hard, and you need to. Actually, there's. So I was reading about Chandan Mendy Retta, who has a handle called
Okay.
Mix It Up with Mendy. He's
Mm-hmm.
the brand chief brand officer at Zepto. So
Mm-hmm.
he was saying. So he was not in marketing or branding. He was in a very different role.
Okay.
For almost 8 to 10 years. He was in, he was a banker, trading and doing all of those things. And but he was like that. I was always very good to people, and then eventually his junior was some at a some CXO level, and they
Mm-hmm.
called him over for a marketing role. So
Oh,
these stories are everywhere, and it's so important for someone who's starting their career who are in their early point of their
true.
life. It's very
True.
important
True.
to be good. I think more than anything else. Like
Right.
even like if you're jumping companies, give you should have a reason for it, and you should make sure that you're not like randomly ghosting companies.
It should not
Yes,
impact the business. I mean, that's very
exactly.
important. You should see
Right.
that whether it is actually going to impact the business or not. I mean,
Exactly.
because the function where this team sits in the HR or whatever, it is a very important function. People still feel that
Absolutely.
okay, it's not that important, but
Right.
the people who are actually bringing the talent within the organization who are going to deliver, they play a very
Very
important role
important
because
role.
they are the
Absolutely.
people who are actually building the culture. Because the
Yes.
kind of people you will bring in, they will have different sort of mindsets, different sort of
Right.
thought processes, right? And those people will actually help you build a typical, culture of any organization.
Right.
So it is a very
Absolutely.
core part of it. So it's very important to understand the vitality of this particular role. People tend to
Yes.
take it very easily, or they tend to take it very lightly. But trust me,
Right.
it's not. Being a recruiter is not an easy job in today's
Hmm.
world. It's one of the toughest one, because you
Absolutely.
need to know everything. Even if you
Hmm.
don't do that work, even if you're not a developer, even if you're not a
Hmm.
tester, whatever it is, but you should know what technology is that. You
Right.
need to be
Right.
aware about it, right? So yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
True. Right. Let's talk a bit about hiring and staffing in general, right? So,
Mhm.
and the impact of AI. Like I've seen now platforms like LinkedIn have their own AI matching tools, right? They have, and there are a lot of, they like in general, like AI can screen resumes in seconds. It can match candidates to job descriptions. It can even conduct interviews till a certain extent, right? So, what would be, for example, your value proposition against an AI platform which is built for hiring?
Mhm. So, what I feel is that these days, even if it's, it's all about the companies which are trying to hire people, I mean, they are trying to, sometimes they are very fussy about hiring somebody for a particular skill set. Let's say if there's a niche skill set, right? So they are very reluctant about bringing those people in. So they feel that, okay, technology
Hmm.
is the only piece that is important. But I believe that it's a very smaller picture, right? Technology has a very smaller impact, because when you work in any organization, you are not just going to do that tech work. You are going to be a part of a certain culture
Correct.
where you are going to bring some value, right? So even those specialized people needs to collaborate and adapt and those see those changes, within the technology. So why would somebody wants the role, and how they can change or how they can adapt those things? That's where human intelligence actually comes in. So AI can never judge that. There's no
Right.
such, they cannot, it can never happen actually, to be honest, because because there are billions of people in the universe, right? And AI will have its limitations always. When it comes to judging that particular intelligence or these particular areas, you cannot judge. AI cannot say that, okay, you can trust this person or you can trust that person.
Hmm.
That's
Right.
where your human intelligence will kick in. Okay,
Yes.
you'll see that, okay, you know this person, you know this person's personality, you know what how this person was in the past, then probably you'll make a decision. That's where those
Hmm.
things comes in. And AI will definitely help you in understanding, that let's say if there is XYZ technology is there, okay, how this technology can be transferred, how this technology can be used or related to a similar technology where a person can actually pivot. So when it comes to hiring a person for a niche position where organizations are reluctant, I always encourage, in fact, my clients, and trust me, it has actually worked a lot of times with me where I sat with the hiring managers and I told them that, see, if you'll be reluctant, trust me, there is no such thing as a perfect candidate. It's
Right.
not there. It doesn't exist anywhere. Somebody will lack something at all. So you
Of
need to
course.
have that sort of flexibility to understand that, okay, this person brings this kind of value, this kind of technology knowledge. Maybe I can use him. Probably I can give him an opportunity to something, do something, or learn something new. So
Hmm.
there has to be, this is what I actually feel. So AI is actually will have its own limitation, like I said, but
Of course.
it is actually helping these leaders to even understand as well, okay, this trajectory, where is exactly the career trajectory will take this XYZ person, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I hope this answers the question.
Yeah, I think that it answers my question well, and I think we're getting a lot of likes from the community. Gitika saying thanks
Okay.
for explaining the switching part. We also
Okay.
we're receiving some very positive responses from
Okay, that's good to
YouTube
hear
as
that.
well.
Okay.
There's a community question. Let me just put it up. It's from Yash, and actually I have a very similar question. I'll put it up, and then I'll also ask my question, which is very similar to what Yash is asking.
Hmm.
First, we'll say so. Yash is saying that what's one skill you believe will remain truly AI proof over the next 5 years. Um, I would I would like to also add something to that question. That are there any industries you're quietly, not just a career choice, but are there some industries which you're asking your the people, so because you're not just a recruiter and entrepreneur, right? You're also career counseling. You're guiding people on which industries to enter, which skills to build, which career moves to make. So What career and what industry do you think is AI proof for the next 5 years?
So should I answer Yash's question first, or should I answer
Yes,
this one? I think
you
this
can
this one is
you can
pretty
answer mine.
much
I think mine would answer Yash's question as well.
okay.
I'm
Okay.
guessing.
So, yeah, thanks for the question. Yes, definitely. You see, when it comes to the artificial intelligence, first of all, I would like to tell you that it isn't a threat. There is actually a taboo in the market that people are very scared about it. So, people who are actually not skilled, they are the people who are actually scared. So, who are actually scared of even adapting the change, adapting the technological shift, they are scared. So, if you see it as on a positive note, it is actually a career multiplier, right? It is helping people to understand the emerging roles, the trends, what is happening in the market, what kind of skills that you can actually learn, to basically, basically see where exactly it goes, right? When it comes to planning your career, right? And being a professional into the counseling industry, this is helping me as well, where rather than doing a guesswork, I have more clarity now where I can guide the person. Okay, I can tell this, okay, to you, if you are coming from so and so background, if you have this kind of interest in your career, I can teach somebody that, okay, this is what you
Hmm.
should be doing. These are the career goals, or these are the potential career opportunities where you can switch up to be technology, non-technology, automotive, mechanical, construction, whatever it is. See, technology is everywhere. But
Correct.
in today's world, I mean, if you're feeling that okay, I can probably do some manual work, no, it's not gonna happen, man. I
Of
mean,
course.
this is the era of automation. You need to stay ahead of the people, stay ahead of the time.
Right.
Uh, Industries to avoid. I would say I'm not really in a favor of saying no to any industry, because I
Hmm.
feel that every industry has its own potential, and if that industry is not probably moving with the current market flow or with the current trend, they're going to left behind, which I don't think any industry is going to do. There are certain jobs, I would say, that certain specializations which
Hmm.
are getting impacted, where we are seeing reduction in the resources, so which are like the telemarketing or customer
Hmm.
service or data
Right.
entry kind of a jobs, or clerical work. So
Correct.
definitely, though, there are certain chatbots coming up which are helping people, reducing time and making life easier for the people as well. Or there are certain AI tools which are helping putting the data or sorting it out, and making
Right.
life easier for the people. So those are impacted, but even that, having said that, that is also something where still you can learn. Right.
Correct.
You cannot say that, okay, I am gonna leave this job. No, it's not gonna happen, because human, like I said, there are certain skill sets, certain traits which cannot be judged by or measured by any machine.
Hmm.
You definitely need somebody, a human brain or human intelligence, to
Right.
understand that person's attitude. So to answer Yash's question, your own intelligence, human intelligence, where you're
Hmm.
actually trying to judge somebody's capability, their
Right.
personality, their beliefs, their thought processes, or let's say their uh, future potential planning, what they're willing to do. Those are certain things which a human will always understand better than a machine, because
Hmm.
machine is working only on a set of instructions which are already given to them. I know it is evolving. There is a Gen AI which is actually evolving and which is understanding it better, but it can never replace human.
Hmm.
So
So
no industries to avoid,
you
please.
would say
No
no
industries to
industry.
avoid. No,
Hmm.
don't do that. Just try to run. Just try to match the pace of the market. Just try to match the pace of the era. Technology is coming everywhere. You name the sector, you name the industry, you name the domain. Even in civil engineering, we are seeing technology is coming up, right?
Right.
Where a lot of work was happening. There was a lot of work which was people were doing manually. It's
Of course.
everywhere. You're
Yes.
seeing those 3D printing, structures getting built, and
Yes. Right.
they're actually getting very famous as well. So technology is there as well, right? I mean, it's all there.
Hmm.
So don't avoid any industry. Just match, just go with the flow and just match the current pace of the market. Yeah.
Hmm. You need to learn these AI tools. You need to make sure that
Exactly. You
you're
need to learn
yeah.
those things. I mean,
Hmm.
because it's gonna come anyway. Because
Right.
trust me, it's AI is not going anywhere for
Of
the.
course.
I am not gonna see. I mean, until we live, that's for sure. Additional
Right.
400, 200 years. So it's not going anywhere.
It's not
Yeah.
going anywhere. Absolutely, 100%. Um, yeah, what I've been hearing is that a lot of low-level jobs are getting impacted. Do you think that's correct or no? That's just hearsay.
It is definitely getting impacted, to be honest. And that is actually giving everyone an opportunity to not do that low level. Why do you want to do that, right? You
Of
have
course,
the
yeah.
automation coming up, you
Yes.
have the technology coming up. Why do you want to
Right.
do that? Just skill up
Upskill
yourself,
and do
man.
a better thing. Yes.
Upskill and do a better thing and earn more, right? I mean,
Correct.
that's what it helps, not just you. It helps your
Right.
family, it helps the nation as well. You're doing it
Absolutely.
for your country, you're building the nation as well, right? If you look at from a very broader horizon, then obviously that is the right way of putting it right now.
Absolutely.
So why do you want to do that low level job? Go ahead and do
Right.
something better.
Right.
Let AI do it. So
Yes.
don't let AI drive you. You drive the AI,
You'd right there, of course.
Exactly.
And
Let you sit on the chair. You sit on the
yeah.
driving seat. That's the best way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what about in hiring? So I'm sure you're using these AI tools daily to find or sort or work with other hiring companies. You perhaps understand AI's capabilities in hiring better than most recruiters out there. How do you screen candidates differently now than you did before ChatGPT? And where does AI come in?
So if you ask about what I was doing 3 years ago, it was
Mm-hmm.
completely a different ball game altogether. When we were doing the screening that time, it was primarily reactive. So we were all dependent upon those manual reviews, looking at the past experiences and reviewing those bulky resumes and spending so much of time in, and seeing and doing those keywords matches is
Right.
not really the best way. Even I was not doing that time. I was also doing something else in identifying those resumes, maybe seeing how those multiple technologies are connected to each other. That's the best way of looking at it. But today, when AI is into the picture, it is actually helping the process, and it has shifted those that reactive thing to a predictive model.
Hmm.
Right. You put the CV there, let AI is any AI tool, is you put it there, let AI analyze it. It will probably make a job lot easier. First, it gives you the agility, right? It saves a lot of time, right? It can also tell you other career trajectories, what where else a person can be a fit. That's gonna save a lot of time for your manual work. Right. So instead of doing that keyword thing, I always suggest, use that now. So we are already, my team is skilled enough. I'm proud to say that they are skilled enough to use these AI tools, and they are actually doing a tremendous job in, in building or probably helping people secure the right job in the market. And they also understand now, the evolution of the artificial intelligence. They understand those technological terms because earlier, obviously, it was difficult for them to go Google it out every single technology and see what this thing is doing. But if they put thing in at one place now, it gives the complete information,
Hmm.
right? So it is actually making them smarter day by day.
Correct.
They
Hmm.
understand the technology better. So, like
Right.
I said, a recruiter is not somebody who is just hiring. Trust me, he is somebody who is learning every single day in terms of
Hmm.
technology. Because if you are a developer, if you are a Java developer, if you are a .NET developer, you will probably know Java and multiple frameworks. You will have your limitations, right? But if you
Of
are a
course.
recruiter, if I'll ask you that, okay, if I talk about some other technologies which is completely different from Java, you will probably
Right.
you probably will
Not,
not even have
of
heard
course.
about it. In fact, I talked to a lot of people. There were certain technologies. Some CRM tool was there. I'm sorry, I'm not able to remember it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to somebody, some candidate. He was from an infrastructure domain altogether, network solutioning and infrastructure. That's IT as well, but it's a different area
Very
altogether.
different domain, yes.
Right, right. I talked about some development tools. Yeah, some CRM. He was like, okay, what is this, man? I never heard of it. So, but
Mm.
if you'll go to a recruiter, if you'll ask him, no, he'll say, okay, yeah, this is what it is, man. This is what it does. So, this is the
Right.
advantage of having somebody having a recruiter who actually understands those technological. They also understand the use cases now. Of
Right.
course, they don't know how to code, but they understand the use cases. In
Correct.
what sectors, what industries these platforms or tools are getting used, right?
Right.
And it is also helping them to talk to these technological people, right?
Right.
So if I'm talking to a tech guy, he will have more confidence in me if I know what I'm
Hmm.
talking about. If I know that technology, he will
Correct.
have more confidence in me. He will have more confidence in that person. So
Right.
rather than becoming a typical telecaller, I always tell my team, become a consultant.
Hmm.
Talk to the
So they
person that
have
you also
to,
know.
yeah,
Yeah,
they have to do a lot of work. Yeah,
they
basically,
do a lot of
they
research. So, I
need to
mean,
know.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a primary research, right? I mean,
Correct.
that's what I call it. You do a lot of research before going in on talking to somebody, and
Right.
you also collect a lot of inputs out of it. So every
Right.
single person gives you some input, some insight, right? You use that.
Of course.
Exactly. And eventually, I mean, like I said, it's not replacing how we are actually screening the people.
Hmm.
It is actually enhancing it, right?
Enhancing
It is
it.
actually giving us the ability to do things faster,
Right.
and of course, definitely giving us sharper insights rather than,
Of
of course,
course. Yes.
right. But
Right.
definitely, like I said, there's certain areas where if you, let's say, if I want to understand what are your intentions about joining a certain job or something, I cannot do that, right? You'll have to
Right.
understand why after talking to a recruiter only, he said, okay, this person can do it. So after talking to that person only, you can understand. So that's where the
Understand.
human judgment comes in,
Of course.
right?
Yes.
Right. So if you
And
combine, that's the magic.
right. So we have a question from Anushka. I think you've already answered it. So Anushka is asking if there are. I think I'm trying to pull it up the screen, but she's asking that she's just curious if there are tasks AI still can't handle in recruiting. I think you've already
I
answered it
think
very well. That
yes,
the human
definitely.
element is
Exactly.
basically
AI
cannot be.
cannot judge a cultural fit. He cannot assess your behavior. He cannot assess your attitude.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It can definitely assess your aptitude. There's no doubt about it. Faster,
Right.
even faster than humans, but not the attitude, right? Not your intention, not your passion, right? So that's where you need the human brain. Trust
Exactly.
me, the human brain is still the smartest one if
Is
you
still
even
this
compare with
one.
the AI. There's nobody can replace it. It is way too complex, right?
Right.
So
No
yeah, we
new
need to
Claude or
understand the
new
power.
ChatGPT,
No,
Sonnet
it's not
4 or
gonna happen,
Sonnet
man. I
7
mean,
cannot
no. So
replace
who
it.
is building the AI? The humans are doing
Right.
it, right? So they
Of
will
course.
always be smarter than the AI anyway.
Right.
You just have to understand how you can drive it. If you're
Right.
driving it right, nobody can touch you. You will always be
Correct.
ahead of the time, right? So that's how it is.
Absolutely. There's one more question from Keerti, which is actually very interesting.
Mhm.
She's asking that what's one piece of career advice that sounds good on paper, but it actually destroys careers?
Okay, that's definitely a good question. So she's saying that okay, that's destroys the career, but it is
Right.
actually
Like it
actually.
sounds good. Some advice which you think that is commonplace, which your people are getting, but it's actually not. Maybe not so important, or it's actually counterintuitive in an AI in world.
So, see, that's what I think I discussed about those low-level jobs right now. That's what we talked
Yes.
about, right?
Yes.
So, if
Yes.
you are actually still you're stuck there, then it is looking good on
Hmm.
paper. You're probably making some bucks, right? Maybe
Right.
a few thousand rupees, few lakhs rupees,
Correct.
initially. But eventually, I mean, once you are actually, let's say if you want to grow, actually, if you really want to make money and if you
Right.
really want to learn something new, then it will have its own limitation. So it might look good on a paper. There might be some fancy titles. You will see that,
Hmm.
okay, coming for certain people. But
Right.
trust me, eventually you will not really
Right.
get what you should be
Right.
getting, right? So
Absolutely.
that's
I
what it
think a
is.
very good litmus test for this is that if you are using AI in your job, then you are in a safe space. If you're
Mhm.
not using AI, then very soon AI is going to replace you.
Even that's true. That's
Yeah.
absolutely true. I mean, if you're not doing it, then AI is gonna
Right.
replace you anyway. If
Then
not the
AI is
AI, then the
coming for
person
you.
who knows the AI, they're gonna replace you.
Yes.
That's what it is. I mean, still there's
Exactly.
still a human touch is there, right?
Yes.
But it's all about how you are making use of it. Right.
Right. Right.
Right.
There's a question, another community question. We have a lot of community
No, that's
questions
fine. I'm
today.
happy to answer
So,
those questions. Good to have
from
this interactive
Devendra.
session.
Yeah, so he's asking, is ATS friendly resume a thing, or is it just a hype? As many individuals, especially freshers, do spend a lot of time in building one, and many a time end up hiring the LinkedIn expert who sells these services. Very interesting question. So, is there a
Yeah.
thing known as an ATS friendly resume?
Uh, I would say yes, to be honest, because
Mm-hmm.
see, when you are putting any resume or uploading any resume on any ATS, it has
Right.
certain set of questions already, which are there. So if you are actually putting those right keywords in that resume, right, and if you are adding those skill sets or whatever projects you have worked on in your resume, even if it's this is for freshers as well. If they've
Right.
done something in their college, if they've done something, any project, any particular event they have done, if they're able to write it properly and if they're able to put it on ATS, then obviously ATS is definitely gonna put it on the top amongst the list of the people who have actually not or probably created their resume properly. So it is actually a thing. Eventually,
Hmm.
on the last, of course, the human is going to play a picture. If a
Hmm.
recruiter, whoever is actually accessing that portal or is in control of that
Right.
portal, that person is going to access it, but that is obviously going to put your CV on the top. So if you are
Hmm.
making it right, then definitely it is a
Hmm.
thing, trust
It
me.
is a thing. So
It is a
you
thing
need
you
to
need.
make the basics correct and not
Correct.
not overthink it, but it cannot
Yeah.
be random. It needs to be there
Yeah,
is
you
the
need to
edge.
express yourself,
Express
I mean, it's
yourself
very important if
properly.
you're expressing
Yes.
it properly, I mean, that's what,
Correct.
even if in any job, to be honest, whatever you're doing, if you're not able to talk about it, if you're not able to express about it, you're not doing it, man. I mean, that's what
Of
it is.
course. Of course. One more community question from Garima.
Sure.
Do you see AI widening the gap between? That's a very interesting question. Do you see AI widening the gap between high performing recruiters and average ones? And if yes, then how should HR leaders respond to this?
It is indeed widening that, to be honest. I mean,
Hmm.
because if you'll ask me today, would you hire a recruiter who does not understand the artificial intelligence? And if you'll say that, okay, this person is an expert in using those tools, I would probably not. Even if the person is skilled enough, I'll probably not hire that person.
Not go for
It's
them.
not about.
Hmm.
It's not about. It's not a discouragement. It is actually sort of an advice to those people who are not coping up with the current trend, right? So it is important that even the HR leaders today, whoever is there in the industry, they should also understand this, that if their teams are not skilled enough to use these tools, they will probably not be able to compete in the market. Because see,
Hmm.
this is a very competitive market. Even if when you are into
Right.
the recruitment market, no, it's a very competitive market. There are so many players. Even if you're doing an in-house recruitment, you have those competitive companies that you're working with, right?
Correct.
If you're a staffing business, you have the staffing companies who are competing with you. So if your recruiter is not skilled enough using those tools, if he's not agile and fast enough, he will always be left behind. And if he'll be left behind, then obviously eventually it becomes a business loss, right?
Hmm.
Because the time it takes to deliver, now I nobody wants to wait. Nobody is patient enough, right? Everybody
Correct.
wants things like this, right? So if you want to match that speed, you need that intelligence knowledge, right?
Hmm.
You need to combine that. So leaders definitely should understand and should try to train their resources to educate their team that, okay, you need to use that, and and they should explain the use cases. It is very important to explain those use cases. It's not
Right.
just about going and doing the chat GPT. No, that's not about it.
Correct.
It's about understanding those use cases, that how this is going to help in XYZ situation. Okay, how
Hmm.
this particular platform is going to help me in screening, or probably understanding the technology, or probably formatting of any document or resume or cover letter, whatever it is. I'm just giving you just a general example,
Right.
but understanding those use cases are very important. So you will find people who understand ChatGPT who say, "Yeah, I know AI, man. I can do that," but they probably don't understand the power of it yet.
Hmm.
So for that, you need proper training. You need those education for that. And yeah, I hope this answers Garima's question.
Yes, I think it answers it very well. I hope, Karima, your question is answered. So, last community question for today. Um, WebHub is asking, how do you find real talent while screening resumes when everyone is rushing to optimize for higher ATS scores? That ATS of course is working well, and it is but everyone knows how to make an ATS friendly resume because they're also using ChatGPT. Uh, it's a difficult situation to be in. I think I have no clue
It's a very
how you must be doing it.
it is a very subjective question, actually, to be honest. I mean,
Right,
see,
correct.
that's where AI will not probably. do it will help you, like I
Right.
said. So that's where the how the communication will play a picture, right? So let's say if you are looking at a resume, it looks like a perfect match. Okay, it has
Right.
all the skills mentioned, the CV is well decorated, everything is mentioned properly, formatting is good, the
Correct.
background is good, the pedigree is good, for that individual. uh, but in if you really want to assess the actual situation, because
Hmm.
people tend to, of course, manipulate the recruiters, by putting those fancy words and those titles, right?
Right.
So if you really want to assess it, then you will have to read about it thoroughly first, do your research, that what exactly this person has done, whether this, because a lot of times once you start reading between the lines, that's what AI
Right.
cannot do. Once you start reading those things, once you start talking to this person, in that case, that communication plays an important role. Talk to
Hmm.
that person, see what he's actually doing, whether is he actually able to explain what he has done it, right? Try to understand, what other technologies he or she was able to relearn or unlearn from his previous experiences, right?
Correct.
Or see that what exactly is he planning to learn now. These are certain things which he cannot
Cannot.
manipulate and that all the
Yes.
time. So this is
Right.
where your own intelligence will come into the picture. You'll be able to assess, okay, this person is probably lying or he's actually telling the truth, right?
Hmm.
So I hope it's a brief answer, but I think it answers the
No, I
question.
think, yeah, I think it
So
answers it very well. The human factor is something which you have to
I
analyze.
am.
I think
It is.
that's
It is very important that
right.
that's why I
Not
said
just
that
the skills.
ATS will definitely put it. It will show that, okay, this is a great match, man. I mean, okay,
Right.
but instead of putting it forward directly to the hiring team, we should
Hmm.
always do our own assessment. It is very important that we cannot rely on the ATS all the time. We
Right.
need to do our
Right.
own assessment just to be make sure, because nothing is things look which looks perfect always have flaws,
Of
right? I mean,
course.
that's
Of course.
that's 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 something that I have learned. So there's no such
Yes.
thing as perfect. That's one of the biggest myth, right? So
Right.
we need to identify those flaws,
Those
and with the
flaws.
experience, I mean, with the experience, when you talk to so many people, when you talk to so many people in the industry with different kind of experiences, mindsets,
Correct.
the domains and everything, you start
You
understanding those
get to
things.
know
You
till a
get to know
certain
that. I mean,
point.
that's
Yes.
something which you develop, or which you develop gradually. Like, it doesn't really come in 1 year or 2 years time.
Right.
It takes years of experience to understand those things.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Priyanshu, last question. This is from me,
Ah,
which
sure,
is, I
sure.
think, important for our listeners. So, you've navigated this massive transition from so many years as a corporate executive, different companies, then an entrepreneur yourself, and then executing others' visions of building their companies, helping them with their IT, with their staffing, and then building yours. On the other side, you're counseling others on their careers while building your career at the same time. In all this, what is the single most important thing you've learned about making big career decisions in today's age?
See, when it comes to making any decision,
Hmm.
if I talk about myself, I believe that you really need to have clarity, and if you have that clarity, you really need to act on it. So if you're not
Right.
able to act when you have a clarity, then obviously you will always be in dilemma. You will not be able to make a right decision.
Correct.
So these shifts that I have made always had its own fears, right? I had my doubts, definitely, because I'll say that I'm not saying that I have complete clarity. Nobody has that. I had
Right.
that, but there are people, there are those experiences, who were actually pushing me that, okay, go ahead and try this. Why
Hmm.
not? Why not?
Right.
Those values, like I said, those fundamentals, those values, those principles came into the
Correct.
picture, right? That, okay, uh go ahead, man, try it. And with that, so for me, I believe in not just orders to the people, giving orders to the people that you go and do it. For me, it has always been like that, setting an example first and then driving
Hmm.
eventually with my team. So with my team also, initially when we actually started, even I do it sometimes. I still do sometimes recruitment. I mean, not often, but I don't have the bandwidth. But yeah, I do it sometimes. Because I enjoy
Right.
it. It's not,
Of
this is in
course.
my blood now. I enjoy it actually. So for me, it has always been like, I'll set an example first. I'll show my team that it's not something which is unrealistic. right? If it's a difficult market, if it's a challenging market, if it's a competitive market, okay, I am gonna do it for you. I'm gonna do it and show it to you. This is how it's happening, right? If I can do it, you can definitely do it, or probably you can do it
Hmm.
better than me, right? You just give it a shot. So
Of
setting
course.
that example, right example, is very important than just giving gyan, right? So
Of
so
course.
that's, I hope
Yes.
this
Set
this
an
is the answer that
example.
you expected. Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, amazing, amazing. Great, Priyanshu. Thank you so much for your time. It has been an amazing session. I have learned
Mm.
so much myself, and I
Thank
hope
you
our
for that.
listeners have also learned a lot of things. How to build your AI-proof career, how to exist in the next
Absolutely.
5 to 10 years, what things are important, what things are not, what to look out for when to understand whether you are in an AI proof situation or not. And for our listeners, that was Priyanshu Soni. He's the founder and CEO of Agylex Global, and he's also the director at Sprinx. He's proving that AI doesn't kill industries; it just changes the game for everyone. You can find him helping students and helping people, career counseling them, and also helping companies as well as governments to hire better talent to run IT staffing and run IT operations as well across countries and continents. Thank you so much for tuning to ChineNet. Until next time, keep learning from the builders. Once again,
Thank
Priyanshu, thank you
you.
so much
Thanks,
for your
Rajat,
time.
for a
It has been
wonderful
lovely.
session. And thank you, all the viewers, as well. Thank you for
Thank
amazing
you.
questions.
Perfect.
Thank you.